What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. To my right, returning guest. It's been almost a year. 2020 Mr. Olympia, Shaun the Giant Killer Clarida. Shaun, how you feeling? I know you're in the grow season. Yes. What's new with you right now?
All is good, man. Thank you for that intro.
Anytime.
It feels awesome to hear those words, Mr. Olympia. But of course, you know, I lost my title last year, and
yes,
I'm very hungry to get that back.
Yes.
So this growth season right now has been going extremely well. Up about 7 pounds, making significant improvements to those weaker areas, and just gonna come into the show and bring my best as always, and let things fall the way they fall.
I mean, we were there. You know, obviously when you lost the title, came back home, inspired you a little bit with our plaque here.
Yeah.
So anybody who comes down to Signature Fitness, this truly is the home of the Giant Killer. I mean, you're literally on the building. But, you know, we're always here to support you. So first and foremost, thank you for being one of our best members. So we just want to thank you for that.
No, thank you guys. I mean, this is home for us, literally home. I think I spend more time here than I do in my actual home.
Probably.
But you guys are family. You guys have, came on board and supported us 100%. And it means a lot, truly.
Always, always. So won the title, lost the title, new title. But which new title is the question? I know you can't answer officially, but there's some rumors that you're packing on some size because you want to not just cement your name, but you want to stomp it and Hulk smash your name as the Giant Killer.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors.
A lot of rumors.
A lot of people making guesses. And for those who don't know what that means, what we're talking about is I am officially qualified for both the 212 Olympia as well as the Open Olympia, which is something that hasn't been done ever in the history of our sport. And I'm one of the first to do it, and it's a big deal. It's really a big deal, and unfortunately, I was hoping to be able to do both, but just, the powers that be thought it was best I choose one, and so they gave me that option, and honestly, I'm still sitting on it. Right now, I'm not really focused on where I'll be, whether it's 212 or Open, but I know wherever I land, I will definitely make an impact and make a run for the title, whether, again, if it's Open or 212. Some people call me not realistic, thinking I can win the Open Olympia. These are the same people that thought I couldn't win the 212 Olympia, and same people who said I never turn pro, or same people who thought I'd never win a pro show, which I did this past year, which qualified me for this year's Olympia. So, anything's possible.
I couldn't agree more. I know, thankfully, I was with you there at the Legion Pro this year. Shout out to Legion, phenomenal show.
Yeah.
And just like you just said, people doubted you this whole time. Now they're saying, what's the point of him doing an open show or doing the Open Olympia? You proved it once. You can very much easily prove it again. I'm a big believer, we've said it on this podcast, that you see it, you achieve it, and believe it. See it, believe it, and achieve it. You know what I mean? So you see something in your head, you believe in your heart, and you can always achieve it. And guys, I know we said this on the last podcast, but this guy is the hardest working guy in this gym. When you hear like screams of pain... It's real pain. Trust me. Go on his YouTube and just everyone who does a workout with him is hurting for the next week or so, I would say.
You can't be comfortable here. I always tell myself I'm doing something that no one else is doing, and that's what pushed me in a position to be the champ. And it's definitely painful every single day. It's painful coming here. I get anxiety before I train.
Really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I get anxiety. Mainly been leg days. I get really bad anxiety. I'm getting up in the morning, I have my meals, I'm thinking about legs and how painful it's going to be, literally. And, on the drive here, it's like getting really bad. And then right before I go squat, I get really bad anxiety. I have to like calm myself down before I get under the bar. But we get it done no matter what.
Oh, always.
We get it done.
Yeah, get it done is an understatement, that's for sure. I couldn't sit on the toilet for like 2 weeks. No, but it's true. I mean, I think that's what... I was talking with one of our employees here who's an aspiring bodybuilder, and he was, like, well, I know you know Shaun. What's the secret? I said, honestly, there is no secret. Genetics can only play so much of a role. Talent, per se, can only play so much of a role. I said, let me ask you something. When Shaun comes in here, do you ever see him, like, BSing on the floor? Do you ever see him, chit-chatting in between all of his sets? No, he's locked in every single set. Whether it's his meals, whether it's getting enough sleep, being prepared on time for the gym. And I'm like, yeah, that's really what it is. That's what, because I think anybody can achieve, I think you would agree, a certain level of fitness or a physique, but what separates good bodybuilders from great bodybuilders, let's say is genetics, and what separates great bodybuilders from legends and, icons of the sport, they're the ones that push themselves the hardest.
It's consistency and discipline. This sport is not for everyone. Literally, I would say 4% of the world can do what we do. And, just the training. People just see the training, right? And like, oh, I can do that. I go to the gym. I'm a bodybuilder. It's not, it's the training. It's the diet. It's the cardio. It's waking up, first thing in the morning at 4 a.m. to do cardio. You're tired. You're hungry. You don't want to be there, but you're there, getting it done, and you're coming back at night again. You're on low sleep, low calories. Your body is in an absolute deficit. It wants to die, and that's not a joke when I say that. Like there were many days that I cried because I just didn't want to do it, but I knew that this was something that I've worked toward, and I absolutely love it. I know that this is temporary, and that light is near, and I just got to keep pushing. I mean, I've been doing this almost 17 years now, and for those asking, it doesn't get any easier. As you get older, your body obviously changes. You have to make changes to your diet, the way you train. So there's always something that's unexpected.
I mean, I would assume it gets harder as you get older, right? In certain ways, your food doesn't. You don't. What's the word I'm looking for? React to foods and supplementation and everything differently as you age, right? Like you have to take different types of vitamins for now your joints, or you don't digest this food like you did 5 years ago, right?
Exactly. Your body changes. I mean, dramatically. For me, the biggest change was the diet. Like there are certain foods I just can't eat anymore. The one thing that I used to love, back in the day was my junk food, my cheat food. I would eat that every day. I can't tell you last time I had cheat food.
Really?
Your body is just literally. Well, I mean, after 17 years of eating clean for the most part,
true.
Your body adapts to this, and it's great. It's a healthy lifestyle, obviously. So, thank God I'm healthy. And but yeah, no, it definitely doesn't get any easier. But I love it no matter what.
Oh, 100%. I mean, even me, I've been trying to drop weight now, and the other day, this is probably, actually no, this was closer to Christmas time, so that's how long I've been trying to cut. And we went to Wendy's, and I was like, I'm just gonna get like the burger without the bun, just like wrapped and let it. And just eating like that processed foods, I was running to the bathroom 20 minutes later. Like it was like instantaneous. My body was like, you just put poison in me versus cooking from home.
I literally eat maybe a cheat meal once, twice a month, if that.
Yeah.
Just because my body is just built that way now. To the point where I only want to eat the clean foods. And at the same time, as a bodybuilder, you want to get that clean bulk. We've seen guys in the past blow up 30, 40, 50 plus pounds, and they don't realize, one, that's not all muscle. There's a lot of fat in there. And two, that fat has to get off you. So once you start prepping and getting into the phase of doing cardio, you're probably doing a lot more cardio than you need to, because now you got to burn off that fat you put on in your off season. Whereas someone like myself who eats clean all year round, I don't have to come in, and kill myself as hard as someone who put on, a lot of fat. So having a good metabolism, a good diet all year round, bulking the clean way, clean bulking definitely is something that over the years I've learned too. It just because, it doesn't get any easier, but the fact that I keep my diet in check all year round, it definitely makes it easier once I start prep.
And we talked about this, I know that there's, you still have little ways of adding some extra calories. I know you just put out did the meal video come out on YouTube?
Yeah, it dropped last week.
So he just dropped a video about what he eats in a day. And of course there's, little things you have to add some extra calories. But, props to you that there, like you said, not a lot of bodybuilders, like you have a six pack all year round. It's not ripped and shredded, but you're never allowing yourself to really, put on that extra fat, which in reality is just pointless,
Plus, in this day and age, too, the biggest thing for us bodybuilders is our digestion and our bloating. You've probably all heard the bubble gut phase.
Yes.
Everyone comes out on stage with a bubble gut. And I believe that just comes from a lot of food, honestly. And it's just excessive amounts of food. And, I don't have a ripped six-pack all year round, but at the same time, I'm comfortable, and I know that I can see my abs if I do there. As someone who grew up as a hard gainer as well, eating a ton of food wasn't my thing. I think the hardest part for me was going from eating 3-4 meals a day to eating 5 or 6 a day. So, diet, like I said, it's definitely key.
And I think with that, it's calorie dense. I think that would solve a lot of these issues. It's common, with all these bodybuilders, it's, their cup of rice, their this, their chicken, everything like that. You're eating that like 6, 7, some people 8 times a day.
Yeah.
That's a massive volume of food. So if they can think about ways to just make it a little more calorie dense, bring in some extra calories without the volume, I think that would probably solve a little bit of that, like you said, that bubble gut issue.
Just spread in the meals, make the meals smaller and spread them out through the day more.
You're not overwhelming your digestive system.
Yeah, of course, man. And again, just stay away from the processed junk food.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
100%. So I want to get this going first. So we did post on your Instagram and ours.
Okay.
We had some questions come in from our Instagram from some locals, some people from out of state, and some of the employees here actually at Signature Fitness. So if you don't mind, we'll just run through these real quick. They're super hard-hitting questions, of course. First, this is from Kev from Instagram. What supplements do you use and or recommend? I'm assuming he's saying just in your daily routine. If there's anything that's like a staple for you.
You know, I'm a big believer in food is always key, always king. But there are supplements that I believe are crucial. Going back to digestion, I believe having a healthy green shake in the morning with some probiotics is definitely, with some glutamine as well, to kind of keep everything in check, keep the digestion in check as well, keep the track moving smoothly. The other key things like a protein shake is something I utilize after training. Creatine all year round, 5 grams pre or post workout is great. And then obviously the biggest thing is like your health products.
Yeah.
Your vitamins, your minerals, your vitamin C's, all those things are definitely something I utilize every single day.
I know one little tip that I started doing that gave me was the turmeric.
Turmeric, yep.
I put that on pretty much all of my food now, just a little bit,
Good for inflammation.
Like, why is everything yellow? Why is the countertops yellow? It's the turmeric.
It's inflammation. It's great for that.
No, and I definitely actually have seen a difference in everything. So next up, we have from Melody, who I believe is a local here at Signature Fitness. We just kind of covered this, but currently, what is your favorite cheat meal?
Pizza and ice cream. Not together, of course.
Not together. Okay, so pizza and ice cream. I love it. All right, next up, Jess, who I believe, if this is the correct Jess, it's the Jess that is actually a trainer here at Signature Fitness. Okay. This is a tough one. Are there any new habits you're looking to create or old habits that you're looking to break?
Wow, Jess.
Stump
me a little bit.
You got to think about that one.
Oh, new habits.
Is there any habit or something that you'd like to change in your normal routine that you need to like either improve on or something like that?
Oh, okay.
Or your routine just perfect at this point?
I didn't want to say that, but you can always be better. I guess it's something that I can provide to everyone who has a lagging body part. Something I picked up a couple years ago with my coaches. Just frequency. I believe if you have a weak body part, like say calves or chest or something, I believe training them multiple times a week. As long as they were able to recover properly, of course. So let's take an example, calves. Normally I'd go in and hit them like once a week and keep it moving, right? And you learn over the years, like, why are my calves growing? Genetically, black guys, we don't have really good calves, so it's like, what do we have to do to get over that hump? And obviously working with certain trainers over the years, we realized that in order for them to improve, the calves are always working. So you gotta realize that too. So what I do is I do calves up to 3 times a week. So, and when I say 3 times a week, I'm using various movements, various foot placements, either toes in, toes out, various rep ranges. Some days I go a little heavier, some days I go a little lighter with more reps. Just kind of shocking the muscle from every angle. Mm-hmm.
And then, is there any old habits that you still have that you think you might be better off without?
Honestly, man, if something works, I'm very hard when it comes to like changing something. Like,
okay.
Like it's like I've been doing it 17 years. Why would I stop now? And so it's like, yeah.
No, that's true because I've tried to get this guy to go out to different restaurants, and we always end up at the same one.
Oh no! When it comes to if my coach Matt says, "Hey, have a burger and fry," you best believe I'm going to the same place every single time. Week. Because one, I know it tastes good, and I've done this before where I've gone somewhere different and literally it tastes like crap. And like there goes the wasted cheat meal.
Oh, that happened with us. We went to that random place in the town next door. Remember we went to that for that burger in Nutley at Jim Dandy's. Remember we went to that random. It was horrible. That's all I remember. Is the food was awful.
Yeah, you can't.
But we're definitely a cheesecake factory group of people, right?
I'm a regular there. I have a table and everything.
Yeah. Mr. Olympia's in town. Clear the table. All right. So next up from Matt on Instagram, we have what is your training schedule like? I think it's a pretty simple, but I guess relatively. What's your split currently?
I'm on a push-pull leg split right now. So Monday's back and buys, Tuesday chest, shoulders, tries. Wednesday is quads mainly. Thursday's my rest day. Friday I come back and hit my chest again. Again, it's weak area, so I want to bring that up. Saturday I come in and hit legs again, but this time I'm focusing just on the hamstrings. And then Sunday will be another rest day.
I actually want to open up that question a little bit because that's something I started to incorporate was splitting up my leg days.
Okay.
And I've definitely noticed a benefit just in the amount of energy that I am able to expend on that particular muscle. Mm-hmm. Do you still do like a compound movement? Like, so if it's your quad day, I'm sure you're going to squat, right? Or do a leg press.
Of course.
On your hamstring day, do you still start with a compound movement or do you specifically go to an isolation exercise?
Do I add a quad movement, you mean, on my hamstring?
So like what's like the first thing you do on your hamstring day?
Oh, see the leg curls.
Okay. And so you're never really doing like a pressing movement.
No.
Okay.
I've done that before and it just doesn't work. It doesn't connect properly for me. Again,
So you're really solely just, it's all hamstrings that day.
Yeah, it's seated leg curl, lying leg curl, single leg curl, RDL, and then glutes. Gotcha.
And then soon on your quad day, right? We're going to have a new piece of equipment here.
About time we got that thing in here.
So shout out to our friend at Super Gym Fitness, I believe it's called.
Steven, yeah.
Steven, thank you so much. It's coming our way, so we had to give him a little bit of a shout out. Pendulum squat, coming to Signature Fitness. We're super pumped about that. So last question from the Instagram. This is from our employee, Gloria. You know Gloria.
Okay.
And she asked, and I'm laughing because I know you can't answer this. Before a competition, are there certain last minute exercises or foods or other methods that are a must, when you're trying to get on stage? Is there any special foods or exercises you do to look your best?
No comment.
No comment.
No, I'm not gonna break down what I
don't break it down. Don't break it. That's a
leading into the show itself. I don't eat as much food as I normally would on a regular day.
Okay, so and do you think that also aids in, like we talked about, your having bloating, gut,
digestion, being able to control your stomach on stage, your midsection. Show day for us, we're still keeping the same exact meals, and I've seen guys and girls do some crazy stuff like, oh, let's go get pancakes and
pizza,
all this. And like, guys, if you've been eating chicken and rice, starting prep, finish that same way. Your body is used to that. To go in and throw a curveball at that and try to add something that you've never had, like very high and calorie dense like that, you're literally possibly setting yourself up for failure there. You're gonna be bloating on stage, maybe have to go to the bathroom. Last thing you want to do is be wearing your suit, have to go to the bathroom.
That's a lot of tan in a lot of places.
So no, I keep my foods the same. But obviously, the show day, I'm not building any muscle the show day.
Yeah.
I'm just going out there and showing what I got. So I just have enough food to kind of, keep me, stable going throughout the show.
Yeah. I seeing it firsthand, it was really interesting because, we've all watched like YouTube videos and all that type of stuff. But until you're actually there and seeing like how the body can change within the hour.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. Like John, your videographer, we were in the hotel room and I think Matt had just said something along the lines of, eat this meal. It was really simple. It was like, I think it might have been not just rice, but it was just like simple. It wasn't much of lots of complex things. Maybe rice and a little bit of meat or whatever it was, some fish or something.
Simple.
And, you woke up, you're never flat, but you know what I mean? It was like you were, everything was nice and tight. And he sent me some progress pics. So, you eat, relax, keep your feet up.
Yeah.
Tips for everybody, just stay relaxed, right? Keep those cortisol levels low. And he's like, all right, John, it's time for photos. And we're like, okay, I guess it's time for photos. And we go in the room next door and then great lighting. And tell me, right, you looked at us and you were like, what's wrong? And both me and John were just like, jaws dropped, like, what? Like, what just happened?
Yeah,
it's crazy how much the body can absorb and do what it has to do.
That's why, props to Matt having a great eye and
100%.
Knowing my body for the past 6 years now. He's learned my body and said he can prep me with his eyes closed if he wanted to. But when your body is literally changing meal by meal, so that's why when I was there, it's like, hey, eat that meal, send me pictures in 2 hours, because he wants to see what that meal did to my physique. If it kept it where it needs to be, then we'll just keep monitoring it today. But if you saw that food just wasn't enough, or if it's making me look worse, for that next meal, we'll make changes as need be. Maybe adding a little bit more fats, or maybe add a little more carbs to it. But that's it's literally the most crucial part of prep is that final day.
Well, and it was so great to hear because obviously we were able to hear some of the conversations, and he's even asked you things like, "How's your digestion? Have you been able to go to the bathroom? How's your energy? How's all this stuff?" I don't think people understand, and this is something that I as a fan, and I'm sure you as, an icon and a very important figure in the sport of bodybuilding, to reach out to all these young athletes that this is a long process. Number one, you need to learn yourself first before any coach can tell you what you need to do with your body. And you said you've been with Matt now for 6 years. 6 years. And I'm sure even though he knows you like to a T, things still are changing.
I mean, yeah, I've prepped myself the first 4 or 5 years of my career. So that's why I've been able to know what foods work for me and what don't, what does and what doesn't. When the man say, hey, let's do this, like, nope, that doesn't work for me. And I'll explain it. Like, something as simple as this, guys. I don't digest steak properly.
Yeah.
Every bodybuilder that I know loves steak, right? I'm complete opposite. When I started working with Matt, I said, hey, I don't eat steak because of X, Y, and Z. He's like, no problem. And we don't use it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I really want to tell to these, because here at Signature Fitness, we're known to be a bodybuilding gym. And there's a lot of up-and-comers in all weight classes, men, women. But I think it's a common thing that's happening at the moment now is they'd rather push everything else and they just listen to whatever their coach says. We're not saying don't listen to your coach. No, it's very important to listen to your coach, but it's having the conversations. It's, this makes me feel this way. I don't like it. This makes me feel this way. This food's not settling with me well, whatever it may be. Or I'm not responding to the training.
Speaking of training, I just had a conversation with someone on Tuesday. He's a athlete getting ready for a show here. He's a member here at the gym, obviously. He's like, hey, my coach wants me doing deadlifts, but I just don't feel safe doing them, and I haven't done them in a while. I was like, listen, yes, you have a great coach. I have a great coach, but there are times where I make changes based on what I know works for my body. Rest in peace to John Meadows, who was my trainer for the past 7 years. He and I, again, day one, hey, John, I don't deadlift because of X, Y, and Z. And guess what? I don't deadlift. So I told him, listen, if your coach has a plan, you have to communicate with him, like, hey, I don't do that deadlift for this exact reason. Have that conversation. He's your coach, but at the same time, you're still the boss.
Yeah.
You're still the boss. So, and again, you know your body better than anyone. So if like for example, I don't deadlift at all because, again, like I said, I have herniations in my back. It doesn't feel well. There are other exercises that work for that area. So a piece of advice to everyone, like, there's no right or wrong way to train. What works for Will doesn't work for Shaun sometimes, and vice versa. So Will's a big deadlifter. I'm not a big deadlifter. Will loves to squat on a regular bar. I love to squat on a step machine. It doesn't matter. There's 100 ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, 100%. Not a big deadlifter, though. You got that one wrong. My deadlift sucks.
Well, you can deadlift at least.
I can, But no, it's something that we're seeing more and more often, and I just think it's a message that needs to be said, and I know you would agree with, is just take your time. You're going to get there. And I'll say that again. Take your time. You're going to get there. Shaun, you are now, 39?
We're going to put that out there.
So Shaun is 27. Shaun is 27.
I've been around.
Shaun's been around the block. He's in his early 20s. And but the reason why I bring that up is it's taken you how long, for how many years, not just competing, how many years have you been training in the gym?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. And people want to do it in 1 or 2.
Listen, I can't sit there and point fingers at things, but there are certain things that have made the industry worse.
Yes.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I'm very offended. But let's just say 15, 16 years ago when I got started in the sport, it was non-existent.
Yeah.
And bodybuilders did it for the love and for the passion of the sport itself. We didn't do it for that, the fame, the glitz, the glam.
Yeah.
Today, unfortunately, people are seeing people online like, oh, this person lives in a nice house. He drives this car. He's sponsored by this company. He's living a life. He's making all this money. Like, if you're doing it for that, you're not going to make it in the sport.
Yeah.
I never got into the sport to be... I didn't even know what a pro card was when I first started. I didn't know what the IFBB was. I didn't know what Mr. Olympia even meant. I just knew there was a bodybuilding show. You could get on stage, flex, show off your hard work, and that was it. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, I enjoy going to the gym, preparing for a competition, knowing that I need to be better for the next one, and that's kind of what bit me by the bug. Obviously, a year or two going into it, I learned about the IFBB. I knew what Mr. Olympia was. I knew what a pro card finally was. And I was like, hey, one day, when the time's right.
Yeah.
I didn't rush into it. I still wanted to. I knew I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't realize, like, listen, you're just not ready. And you have to step back and be real with yourself. There's too many people out here chasing this pro card and blah, blah, blah. And you've never even stepped on the stage.
And it's a life commitment too. People don't understand, you are taking a course in your life, and I say this in like, it's similar with trying to be a top level strength athlete as well. Yes, the paths are a little bit differently, but the same cards are played and everything. And, you really need to understand that, it's a life decision, and take everything seriously, but you're working towards a great goal, right? Everything you're seeing all over, like you said, it takes 5, 10, 15, 20 years, to get there. I'm sure, heck, the first time we met a few years ago, you were in a completely different place in your life.
Of course.
That's
what we'll get to next. I mean, yeah, this took me, X amount of years to turn pro and win Mr. Olympia, but people don't see the behind the scenes stuff. They don't see the days where I'm, hurting and crying, and I'm people are passing in my family, and I'm still having to push through that stuff. I mean, let's be real. My uncle got murdered a day before my show, so I buried my uncle, got in a plane, and went and did the show and won. People don't see that.
Yeah, nobody knows.
No one knows that. But oh man, I just wish that people just, like I said, just stop focusing on that glitz, that glam.
The glam.
I mean, just if you don't love the sport, you don't love training, then just don't worry about doing a show.
Yeah.
Just go into the gym and do your thing and just be happy. Don't think I'm gonna get a pro card when life's gonna change. I turned pro and I went back to my job the next day. And I still had a full-time job.
Of course.
That's another thing out there. You guys think you're gonna turn pro, and all of a sudden these big checks and big contracts come deal. Guess what? You got a wake-up call coming.
Yeah. No.
I turned pro November 7th, 2012. November 9th, I was back at work in my office job. Like nothing ever happened.
If you don't mind answering, so that was in 2012.
Yeah.
How many years was it, just so they can understand, until you were able to fully sustain yourself without having to have a quote-unquote normal job, to be a full-time professional? Wow. How many more years did that take? So
2012, I turned pro. It wasn't until 2018 when I was able to become an actual full-time bodybuilder.
6 more years.
6 years.
6 years as a pro.
And I was still doing pro shows, doing well, and still wasn't living the life as a full-time. I was still competing as a pro and still had a full-time job.
This is what people don't understand. It's the same thing, and it's actually, in reality, it's even much harder as a strength athlete. Because, the marketing and everything isn't behind it as much.
Yes.
And so now, I have, some people I consider good friends of mine, well, I want to make it to nationals. I want to make it to worlds. And I'm like, great, but why? Why are you doing it? And I don't discourage them to do it. But like, if you're doing it for you, 100%.
Absolutely.
Don't do it for your, whatever it may be that's asking you to promote or this and that, whatever, or because you think that, it's going to be great. I'm going to blow up afterwards. Like, that's 1 in a billion that's going to happen, that you just, some of these people just randomly like pop off and they're like, oh, they're the next whatever.
I did 3 Olympias and I still had a full-time job. I'm on Olympia stage 3 times.
With a full-time job.
Still with a full-time job. So that goes to tell you
I
guys,
love it.
It doesn't matter where you're, especially if you're just turning pro, forget about it.
You got a long ways to go. And it's the same thing, we have some a pro strongman here, and he tells me the exact same thing. He goes, just because I'm a pro strongman, I think he just did. He was on his Instagram. He was making a joke. Someone asked him to do like a bench press contest, and it was like 225 like combine, like how many reps you can get, and he won it, and he won like $500. And he goes, he's telling his following, he goes, it's sad that that's the most money I've made as a pro strongman, and he's been a pro strongman for like 2.5, 3 years. The most money he's made was doing a local bench press contest.
Yeah, man.
They don't understand. There's so much that goes into it.
There's levels to this game.
And that I want to segue into the next part of this because, I think you're a great example of treating this like a business to make sure that you are treated with that type of respect and everything. Like, I don't think the viewers at home understand that if you do want this to be your sole income, that you need to you need to consider yourself, you're the boss, you're the CEO, you're the everything of everything.
Yeah.
And how has that, excelled you in certain ways? Like, whenever you made that choice to go to be, full-time, Was there a switch you had to make in your head? Was there, you know, planning you had to do, or was it just like, I'm going for it?
I took a chance. You know, I took a chance. I had lost my job.
So like, not much of a chance, but
I took a chance. No, I could have got another job.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance at this bodybuilding thing, and honestly, I'm glad I did because it definitely pushed me to work even harder. Because now it's like, hey, I'm this is my job now. Now that's at the point where it's like, I still love the sport. I still love training, but this is my job. You know, this is what I have to do to put food on the table. So it definitely pushed me to get out there more, competing wise, do more appearances, things like that. So I travel a ton. Well, I did travel a ton. You know, I first turned pro and such like that. But this is definitely a business, something I definitely absolutely love, and trying to balance the training and the traveling and appearances and all that stuff. Like, it can get tiring. Like, I'm traveling tonight.
You just told me, like, out of nowhere.
I'm getting on a plane like 3 hours to go to Utah for an event.
Yeah,
an appearance. So it's like it's nonstop. But man, listen, I love every aspect of this. Like, some people hate the traveling and they hate this and hate that. Like, I understand. It can be very tiresome for sure. I absolutely agree. But again, not only is it my job, but being able to go there and meet the fans and do that I love this. I love every aspect of the sport.
Yeah, I'm sure it gives back tenfold when you really engulf yourself into the culture and everything like that.
Yeah, no.
You just got on. I don't know if that YouTube video dropped yet, but did you got some fan mail all the way from another country, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, it's again, I get messages every day, and I think I guess I'm like the spokesperson for little guys now.
I mean, I think it's a nice honor to bear. No, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You are the giant killer. So
following in the footsteps of Danny Padilla, the OG giant killer. I guess I'm the new age giant killer.
Yeah. So
I'm doing it for the bantamweights, the lightweights, the welterweights, the smaller guys who were told they're too small and they couldn't do it. And I'm putting out I tell them everyone's a giant killer. If you're a small guy and you're fighting, you're fighting to make it in this sport or whatever you're doing in life, you're a giant killer. And I feel like, it's definitely humbling on my part to get the message that I get or the people that come up to me and things like that. I had a guy come up here at the Reno show, and we didn't get it on video. I wish we did, but this guy had me in tears.
I remember this one, yeah.
I mean, tears. He almost lost his life, and he had all these illnesses and things going on in his life, and he used me as motivation, and it's just so crazy, man, the message I get.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're able to impact, and not just the bantamweights and all that stuff. I'm sure I've seen it firsthand. You have up to 6'5" guys coming over and being like, dude, you're amazing, you're insane. I think that also has to go, and this brings it back to one of my next questions, but to your training style. I think a lot has changed in bodybuilding over the past, let's say 20 years.
Yeah.
In the style of training. I know we just mentioned that, not everyone does the same exercises. Do what works for you. Mm-hmm. But I want to know if you agree. Not doing what's good for you is one thing. It's the intensity level that I think that doesn't change.
No,
you know what I mean? Everyone can do. Oh, I don't do deadlifts. I do this instead of.
Yeah.
I feel like the level of training and really pushing through that pain barrier, people don't really do it anymore.
No one. It's a dark place. No one's willing to go to that dark place.
It's a very dark place.
No one's willing to do those drop sets and those back off sets and push that weight and get under that bar, 5 plates and bury themselves to the floor and come back up. No one's willing to do that.
No, nobody.
It's just, today's age, everyone's got the YouTube, and I see some crazy, one-legged press type of side. Like, guys, stick to the basics. Trust me, it's gonna work. And I'm a big believer in compound movements, barbells, dumbbells, but I also believe there was a place and a time for machines. And I can take a machine and make it feel like a barbell, a dumbbell. Again, it's like you said, the intensity of the way I do the work. I'm not just getting under that and just
pumping away.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that bar onto that machine. I'm gonna move it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move until I can't.
You're gonna fuck that machine up.
Pretty much.
So back to the training. Mm-hmm. Something that I'm gonna be starting here at Signature Fitness is I want to do a deep dive into the facility and into some of the rare pieces. And we've talked about this is something that we've been trying to accomplish here for a little over a year now. You know, any cool machines that stick out to you here specifically, and things that you would like to see here, just so. I love when people travel and they get to see something they don't know what it is. You've been to a ton of gyms all over the world. So what's probably your favorite piece here? Let's say an upper body piece and a lower body piece, and then something you want to see for each.
The best leg hack squat here is the Cybex for lower body.
Okay.
That is the #1 hack squat, and that will never change. And upper body, I would say that lower back weighted hyper machine. I've only seen us and one other gym have one in the world.
Oh, the one where the rollers, it says made in York, PA. I still got to figure out what.
No, which rollers?
On the top, you know where the cable runs through?
Yeah.
Those little cast iron rollers. It says made in. It was either York, PA, or it was California. I'm gonna go look, but I haven't been able to figure out what company makes it.
It might be a one-off job type of thing, because the other place that I saw had it, they stole the idea from us.
Really?
So they tagged me in it.
Oh.
So I don't know if they went and had it made to look like that. So I think we have like the original here.
Okay.
And I've never seen anyone. But 2 companies have gone on to reinvent it.
Okay.
Arsenal, it's called a posterior chain builder.
Yes.
So they kind of took our idea.
But without it's with the roller, right?
With the actual roller, yeah. And Elite FTS, they also have one as well, very similar.
It doesn't. I've tried them though. It doesn't hit the same.
No, I've tried it as well. It's very different.
What I love about that machine, that stack, the weight stack's only like this big. The whole weight stack probably doesn't weigh.
It's 100 pounds.
Is it even 100?
It's 100 pounds.
And I only put like maybe 3 plates, and you can do that for 10, 15 reps, and your back is blown up.
Well, let me tell you, how rare it is. So Dave Tate, who, if you guys don't know, is one of the originators when it comes to training, strength training, powerlifting, and machines. He's seen everything. He's
built everything.
And when I showed him our machine, he's never seen it before. He was like blown away.
Really?
I showed him the phone. He's like, "What the hell is that?" I want this. So he's I don't know if he's trying to recreate it or whatever he wants to do over there, but yeah, no, it's definitely a rare piece here.
Oh man, that's awesome.
We actually had some people try to buy it on my Instagram.
Really?
So someone had like reached out like, "Hey, what can I buy?" I'm like, "You're not gonna buy this. I can promise you, you're not coming in here and buying this machine."
That's awesome. And then now 2 machines that you'd hope to see, one for lower body and one for upper body.
Lower body pendulum, which we're getting.
Well, I thought there was one other special one that I'm thinking of.
My Cybex squat press machine.
No, you're forgetting the piece de resistance, the AFS hip press.
Oh, you're not gonna get that. The best leg press in history ever made horizontal. The horizontal is the AFS leg press. Man, I've tried the original and I've tried the newer version when someone had recreated it, and it's night and day. That piece, I've only seen it at one place, and that is at Bev Francis. And
there is one other place that has it.
What's that?
I went to DMV Iron in DC.
They have it,
and they do have it. And because you had told me about it so much, I had to try it out. Dude.
It's nuts.
It's like, you know what I think a perfect description is if you were to just sit on the floor, put your feet against the wall, and like push that way, and that's the motion.
There's no knee pain. There's no
nothing.
Back pain. It's literally quads the whole entire movement.
It's a great piece.
Yeah.
We got some things in the works here.
Hey, if you get that, then I might, have to steal that and leave.
I don't know about that. Maybe it'll make you stay. We'll see. But yeah, no, and then for upper body, a piece that you would love to see here.
I mean, we've got everything. I mean, a little bit more chest plated, like incline machines.
Okay.
Like the Atlantis makes a really good chest machine.
A plate loaded chest press?
Yep.
Okay. I know my favorite machine, and I've geeked over it, and you've been in the videos too, is our 1975 Nautilus pullover. I love that machine.
The Dorian Yates.
That thing is killer. My back just like blows up every single time I use that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cool stuff here. So guys, come down to Signature Fitness, check it out. You'll see Shaun here training and screaming. It's a good time. So Shaun, before we wrap things up, I just have a few more questions for you. So first and foremost, I hate to bring up a negative thing, but obviously, God rest everyone's souls who's passed this past year. You know, it's been rough for everybody. I know this is something you have preached previously, but what are the steps to take, our personal steps that we should take, from your opinion, to just make sure that things like that don't happen?
People want to say that, you know, this organization should do this and do that, and let's be real, we're all adults here. We'll all make decisions, and we're all responsible for what we put into our bodies and how we take care of ourselves. So I don't feel that that's anyone's job but our own. So let me first say that. And two, it's a matter of just, again, being responsible, getting the blood work done, getting something I did this past year was getting my heart checked. It's very unfortunate what's going on. Like, I've had a personal relationship with each and every person that's passed. Obviously, John Mills was my coach. I was with him a month before he passed.
Yeah.
You know, George Peterson, we competed many times together in the 212 stage, and it's crazy that I was with both Shaun and Cedric at the Reno show.
That's right.
You know, and, you know, to see everyone going. And so, yeah, I had my, you know, heart check. I mean, just a matter of getting the blood work done. You know, getting the heart checked, make sure your blood pressure is good as well. And let's be real, just taking breaks. You know, taking breaks, taking those rest breaks, coming off, you know, the supplements, and letting your body just kind of just
be normal.
Live.
Yeah.
Just live.
Not be in a state of, like, you know, essentially we're putting our bodies in a state of, like, you know, chaos. It's never in a homeostasis, really, because we're always trying to achieve something further.
Yeah, it's too much, you know. But at the same time, like I said, we're all adults here, so I feel like if you do have an issue going on and you do find out your blood work's a little iffy or your heart's not where it needs to be, then as a responsible adult, then you should be able to have that real conversation with yourself. Like, hey, maybe there's something I have to reevaluate, either take time off or, unfortunately, walk away.
Yeah, and I know that's tough, especially because this is a very, I don't want to use the word self-centered, but it's you versus you all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, and as you said, you have to be responsible for your own body. So it can be tough sometimes to say, you know, I just can't do this anymore. You know, if I want to, you know, have kids or see, you know, my family again and all that type of stuff, it's a scary time. But I think having these open conversations, that is the most important thing. Like you mentioned, it's not, oh, they shouldn't allow this, or these people should have to be tested for this, or whatever it may be. That's not the point. The point is be responsible, get yourself checked out, and have that open dialogue with yourself and say, okay, maybe I need to take a break or whatever you said. So thank you for that. I think that's something that a lot of our viewers, and specifically, you know, a lot of the newbies to the sport, or people who are just, you know, in their first few years here at Signature Fitness and everywhere else, you know, in the world, take the time, you know?
I mean, I'm sure that, I'll be real honest with you, there was a time where I didn't want to know.
Oh, yeah.
It's just one of those things like, if I don't know, then it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not how as you get older, you realize that's not, and you start seeing things like it's better to know and to be able to rectify that or before it's too late.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing is, a lot of times if there's something wrong, as long as you catch it early enough, you usually can fix it and continue doing what you love to do. I know for me, I think I mentioned the story to you. So May 7th, Derek Poundstone's coming here for a overhead seminar. Derek used to be my coach for strongman. And, you know, he used to ask me, he goes, Will, you're, you know, 360 pounds. Why don't you have a Cpap? And I was like, oh, I'm just dealing with it. And then, you know, I'm at the Arnold that wasn't an Arnold, you know, in 2020. You know, we show up and he happened to be there, representing one of his athletes. And he really had like not a sit down, but like a heart-to-heart conversation with me. He goes, no pun intended, heart-to-heart. He goes, Will, I don't think you realize when you're sleeping, your heart is taking a beating because it's not getting oxygen. And he goes, if you don't get that CPAP, he goes, trust me, because now he has issues now. You know, thankfully he manages them, whatever. He goes, it took him years to, you know, finally get on a CPAP. And I'm reaping the benefits now. Steph hates me because I wake up at 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings, you know, and I'm just like, let's go outside, let's explore. It used to be I'd wake up at like 12 o'clock, and then you wonder why I'd be showing up at the gym at like 2, and you're like, oh, we're done. I'm like, I couldn't get up. But that just goes, that's a small change that, like you said, you didn't want to know. I didn't want to be that guy with the mask at night.
That's me.
But hey, Shaun, I'm telling you, from one friend to another, life changing. You know, it really was. Now that I'm used to it, like last night, you know, do you toss and turn a lot? or you stay in one place?
I don't know. I think because of the weight and things that get so sore that I have to.
You have to move and
I
stuff.
have to move just because my body gets. If I lay on my arm, it gets numb.
Goes numb and stuff. Yeah. So for me, it was just like that, and I was constantly moving. Now, when I have like a great night's sleep, I'm like, did I die during the night? Because I wake up in the same exact spot, and I'm like, this never happens. It really is something amazing. So get a Cpap for all you big heavy guys out there.
Yeah.
It'll change your life. So Shaun, first and foremost, thank you always. You know, you inspire all of us here at Signature Fitness. I know you have huge things coming up this year. Guys, I believe it's April 25th. Tickets go on sale for the Mr. Olympia.
Yes.
I'm buying my front row seats. We're going to be cheering this guy on, so you guys better be there. It's going to be awesome. If you haven't been to an Olympia, it's something you need to experience.
A whole nother just animal of the sport.
100%. So guys, buy your tickets. You know, we'll see you there. It's a great time, and we get to cheer on the Giant Killer. Is there anything you want to shout out, say hey to? If not, it's a wrap for us today.
No, just thank you guys for having me on and for always supporting us.
That's it, guys. That's another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. We'll see you later.